So today I'm announcing that the existing disaster emergency proclamation will be extended through June 25th, and I'm making some changes to public health measures that we have had in place. As I announced last week, effective on May 28th, bars, wineries, breweries, distilleries, and other social or fraternal clubs may reopen following the same public health measures as restaurants, including limiting normal operating capacity to 50% and social distancing groups of 6 feet. Live bands or other musical performers are now permitted at bars and restaurants, but must also follow social distancing protocols with members of the group and the audience. And restaurants and bars may now set party sizes of up to 10 people. And effective next Monday, June 1st, additional businesses may reopen. Speedways and racetracks can open events to spectators. Outdoor performance venues such as amphitheaters and grandstands can hold live performances. Casinos and gaming facilities may reopen, as well as amusement parks, bowling alleys, pool halls, and arcades, all at 50% of normal operating capacity and according to social distancing, hygiene, and public health measures. Also effective on June 1st, social, community, recreational, leisure, and sports gatherings of more than 10 people will be permitted again. Groups and individuals attending the gatherings must maintain 6 feet social distancing, and venues are limited to 50% of normal operating capacity or the level necessary to maintain adequate distancing, and also must follow social distancing, hygiene, and public health measures. This proclamation also permits practices, games, and competitions for youth and adult baseball, softball, and individual sports such as running, biking, swimming, tennis, and golf to resume with appropriate social distancing, hygiene, and public health measures in place. Lifting this restriction means extended families and friends can gather together, but that privilege comes with responsibility of ensuring you're doing the right thing to protect your health and the health of the people you care about. I've asked Sarah Reister to provide some additional information about the rationale for the change and what that means for Iowans.
Thank you, Governor Reynolds, and good morning. I appreciate the opportunity this morning to talk about how Iowans can keep themselves, their families, and their employees healthy as more businesses open in the next week. As we have continually reminded, Iowans that are over 65 or who have underlying health conditions should continue to stay home as much as possible. All Iowans should continue to practice good social distancing when out and about, wear masks or other cloth face coverings when social distancing is not possible. You should continue staying home when you're not feeling well, seeking health care when appropriate, and continuing to practice good hygiene like covering coughs and sneezes, and washing hands and using hand sanitizer continue to be incredibly important. As more places begin to reopen, Governor Reynolds has allowed this while also requiring public health mitigation measures to remain in place. So while businesses are being allowed to open, they are also being required to do so in a responsible way that promotes social distancing within the establishments and venues. Please pay attention to and follow the restrictions that are in place when you visit these establishments to keep yourself and others as safe as possible. You can continue to find guidance and updates at coronavirus.iowa.gov, so please watch for additional information there. As Governor Reynolds has said, we are all continuing to adjust to what life with COVID-19 will be like as we continue to move through this pandemic. We know this is a difficult time, and Iowans need to continue to be responsible in taking care of their own health, as well as protecting the health of our communities. I sincerely appreciate the Governor's regular reminders that as Iowans, we need to be accepting of one another's choices and our individual decisions and needs. And again, if you're not feeling well, or if you've been diagnosed or in close contact with anyone who has been diagnosed with COVID-19, you need to stay home and follow the advice of your healthcare provider and public health agency. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Governor.
Lost my page there. Thank you, Sarah. Greatly appreciate your thoughtful recommendations as we continue through our recovery phase in a very measured and responsible way. Many of the other public health measures for businesses that have already reopened will remain in place, and businesses that remain closed will continue to be closed through June 17th. I will continue to evaluate in the coming weeks whether any of these measures should be adjusted further. Finally, the disaster emergency proclamation has also provided significant regulatory relief to businesses and individuals over the course of this crisis. While some relief will continue for another 30 days, some other components will phase out at 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, including the moratorium on foreclosures and evictions and other debt collection activities. I know that some Iowans who have experienced a reduction in income due to COVID-19 may have difficulty paying their rent or mortgage payments in the months to come. To provide continued relief to those families, I will be allocating funding through the state's allocation of the Federal CARES Act funds for the creation of a COVID-19 eviction and foreclosure prevention program, which will be administered by the Iowa Finance Authority. The program applies to residential evictions and foreclosures and will be available to eligible Iowans who have experienced a documented loss of income due to COVID-19 and are unable to pay their rent or mortgage payment. Eligibility information will be available soon, including income limitations and the types of assistance that's available and how to apply. For Iowans that are able to pay their rent or mortgage payments, this is a reminder that you should be making your payments as usual. The moratorium was not a freeze on payments, but rather a necessary public health protection to ensure that Iowans were able to stay in their homes at the height of the emergency.